to another episode of the Jenn Commandments podcast. I am your host, Jenn Wien. I'm an engineer currently working in Wisconsin. I grew up in the Chicagoland area and I went to college in Michigan. Hey, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? It's been it's been a really good week for me. Well, it's been an emotionally hard week, but I don't know, it's hard. It's hard to put into words how I'm feeling cuz I feel myself evolving in a lot of ways, patterns that I used to repeat indefinitely. Um I'm stopping pretty early on and being like, actually, I can tell where this is going, and um if this is the way that it's going to continue, then I don't want any part of that. And we talked about that last week, and we don't have to continue to harp on it, but it's something that I'm really, really proud of. And as much as, I don't know, the desire to be cared for and the desire for companionship or whatever is there, I don't desire it more than I desire the right type of companionship, I guess. And that's been really interesting to grapple with and to finally like prove to myself, because for a long time, like, I cared much more about companionship over quality of companionship, if that makes sense. And so to evolve and to like really have standards for yourself and those around you, and I don't know, show that love that you set the precedent for, to show that to your loved ones and them show that love to you, I think helps to reinforce those standards. That's been sort of cool. That's been sort of cool this week. It was Valentine's Day weekend. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy belated Valentine's Day. I love Valentine's Day. I love love. That's something that I've talked about on this podcast before, of loving love and loving what love signifies and what Valentine's Day signifies, of a day dedicated to showing the people that you love how much you love them, regardless if it is romantic or not. Um, and so on Friday morning, Jessica texted me and was like, I wish you could come to the kids' first volleyball game tonight. And I was like, wait. I said, let me see what I can do. And I don't know, move some stuff around at work, and I don't know, made it happen. I made sure that Dante was going to be watched, and I moseyed my way down to Steger for the evening to watch Steger volleyball. No better place to be on a Friday night than in the Columbia Central Middle School gym. Uh, wow. I was telling Jessica, I haven't been in that parking lot since I was scared to drive. Like, as I was pulling in, I was like, oh, the last time that I parked in one of these parking spots, like, I was still uncomfortable with driving. And that's so cute. um that's just like, I got to see both her kids play in their respective volleyball games, and that was very fun. I love showing up for them when I can and when it makes sense to. Kids had lots of support there, and that was really cute to see. So I don't know, it was a very, very good Valentine's Day Eve. And then the kids' grandma ended up taking them back to her house for the night. So then Jessica and I got to go on like a little date. We always be going to Texas Roadhouse. And I was telling her how the Texas Roadhouse that we go to specifically holds a lot of like weird memories for me. I like I've gone on a lot of dates there as a child. I and then also like when my parents first got separated, I think my dad didn't know what to do with me. So like once a week he would take me there. Like when I was in like I think 7th grade ish. I think that's when my parents separated. Um and yeah, so I love getting to spend that time with her there, and I don't know, rewriting some of those things. And not that those are bad memories, some of them are bad certainly. But I don't know, I've spent a lot of time in that Texas Roadhouse over the years, bruh. That's probably the restaurant I frequented the most as a teenager, if I'm thinking about it. Um, and we were discussing, Jessica and I, like just like sort of the difference in our childhoods. Like she was like, I don't think I ever went to like a steakhouse until I was an adult. And she and I were sort of reminiscing about that, of like relative to where I was from, like my parents were pretty well off, and like I grew up doing a lot of things that like not many people in my area grew up doing. Um and that how it's such just like an interesting, like money is such a relative thing. Like like I don't know, we were hood rich, not by like dirty money, or well, I would say the real estate industry is dirty money, but that's neither here nor there. Um, my parents were landlords. Um, so just a little bit of lore on my behalf. Yeah, so before the market crashed in 2008, like my parents had a lot of real estate. I think they had like, I don't know, over $1 million worth of real estate. And um like my brother and I and my mom um were sort of like my dad's employees in a lot of ways. And that was just sort of like, we did have a lot of money, right? But but I was like taking outlet covers off at like 3 years old. Like my parents let me around electrical stuff with a screwdriver when I was like 3 or 4. And so yeah, it's weird to that's why also it's sort of weird to come home. Like I can drive around. One second. I was talking about being a child laborist. And honestly, like the child labor that I performed wasn't half as bad as like the child labor that I know my mom grew up doing on a farm. Like I think it's really interesting. That's why I think human studies is so interesting, because I don't know, like my mom was a perfect candidate to be groomed is sort of like an icky word, but like to be not manipulate is not even the right word for it either, but like see the stars, like be easily wooed by somebody like my father. who like grew up with at least middle class wealth. I would say upper middle class. My grandfather was a chemical salesman. And then my grandmother was a nurse. And I think it was pretty rare because my dad was born in 60. So I assume that I don't know. I think that's like the silent generation is the one that like raised the boomers, or like the depression era. Um and so I think they were pretty well off, you know. And I don't know. My dad, like back then, that's sort of all you needed, right? Was like a parent with some sort of wealth, and you could work a labor job and create and sustain enough wealth to then start up this other venture, right? That's not to say that it didn't take hard work. That's not to say that it wasn't laborious and it wasn't like whatever. It's like I don't know. My point is is like my mother was not new to hard work, right? And so if somebody would present this offer to her basically of like you're going to access a bit of wealth that you've never accessed before, because like to be honest, right, like my mom grew up on a farm, like she grew up um from my perspective probably very similar to the TV show Shameless. Of course that offer is tempting, right? The real estate of it all, the we can be landlords and make extra, and like that did work for them. And if you had a partner who respected you reciprocally, or I don't know how the right words for it right now. um but if like you had a partner who you could trust for real, and like I don't know, was equally strategic and smart, and not that my no tea no shade, but like I think that then yes, that could be a good partnership, both romantically, financially, whatever. um However, I think because my father was the one that came from wealth, and my father is just sort of a misogynist. Okay. I part of like my empathy for him, or like my out for him, is that I just think that he's a little dumb, but like I don't want to use that as an excuse, cuz like I use that as an excuse for the teacher who's suing me for a long time as well. I was like, well, he's just sort of an idiot, and he's not. He's a like very calculated individual. Anyway, like don't that's it's weaponized incompetence a lot of times. That's my main point here, is like nobody's ever made them have to be capable. Everyone has babied them their whole lives. They are not going to learn unless you stop babying them. They are grown-ups. Stop teaching stop teaching men that you need that they need to be catered to, and stop teaching young women to cater to these men. Stop. They're grown. They're grown. I don't even know how I got on that. It's been a good week. It's been a really good week. I had a big meeting at work this week, and I think those positions that I put myself in, where I'm sort of, because I do social science, I'm like very social science forward. Um, and that is not considered like a real trait to a lot of people. That's not considered like a value add. Soft skills are not seen as value add as technical skills, especially in my field. Okay. Despite the fact that almost all of us, and I mean almost all of us in the world. I don't just mean in the engineering world. I don't mean just like in STEM. I mean almost all of us work a service role in some sort of capacity. We all are providing a service to someone in some sort of way, whether you're a nurse, whether you're a fucking engineer, whether you're a businesswoman, whatever the fuck you are. You're a doctor, I don't care. You're like actually a wait staff. I don't know, bro. You're servicing people, which means, guess what? Guess what that fucking means? You're interacting with others, bro. And over the last couple weeks, I think I had been observing the way that many of my peers interact with me, with their peers, with customers. And I think I tried it out for size, right? I said, well, if it's acceptable to be rude to me in many of these contexts, what does that feel like when I do it back? And I realized how miserable these people are actually, because I became miserable like that for a couple weeks because I was trying to match energy, and I was miserable doing it. I was like, oh my God, I actually like am seething every single fucking day. And that's an ugly place to sit in for very often. It took me about 2 weeks to really be like, oh, no, no, you will not be doing that for very long. You're not going to sit here and just be fucking angry to people. That may be other people's coping mechanisms to this this situation, but it's sure as hell not going to be mine. No. So I when the system that's currently in place doesn't work for me, my instinct is always to create a system that will work. My instinct isn't to just like, I don't know, complain about it and pretend like it's not my job to fix it. Because I don't know, bro. I'll go crazy if I'm gonna sit there and just seethe for weeks and weeks and let it really just affect my life and make my blood pressure high. And like, I don't know, bro. I am never going to have a autoimmune response again because of stress. Okay, I let it last about 2 weeks, and then I let go of it in whatever way that takes. Right. Um, So I had a very important work meeting to discuss how we can put systems in place, because I'm a system stinker, how we can put systems in place that protect both the fucking engineer and the company. And it was fucking terrifying. Because that's not a I don't know, that troublemaker position, bro. I love that position, but like obviously it's scary. And especially in the job market right now where like I don't know, people is getting laid off and shit, you know. But I don't know. I'm very passionate about protecting my fellow coworker. Like that's what being a community is. I might not even like most of them. And like I don't know, that may or may not be true. I mean, I don't know. It's all alleged, you know. Um they fine. It's fine. I just have to deal with them 40 hours a week. So like gross, you know. And I don't know. I want the best for them because I like working with many of them. Well, I, the T is like the good ones that be on my team. They're real good, and I know that them other motherfuckers who have been here for a while who haven't stepped up already. They not just gonna magically step up, and so I'm like, you got to make sure that they stick around because I can't do that shit yet. You know, like that's really as a young person in the professional world, younger person. I'm not that young. Um, but as somebody who has a lot of career still left in front of them, that those are the things that I worry about. Is are my are the people who are just above me, are they being taken care of well enough so that they feel like they'll be able to progress long term in this career and then make me feel like I could progress long term in this career because my direct aboves are sort of the blueprint, right? And so I have to perceive that around me. And I'm somebody who like cares about my career in a certain context. Like I am a little old fashioned in the context of the like I'm willing to stick around with a company if I enjoy their moral compass, you know. As long as you treat me well, I enjoy your moral compass, like we could fuck with each other, you know. And I do really like that about the place that I currently work. Um but but I don't know. I think my coworkers deserve the world, and because I know that some of them for sure, some of them for sure, uh, they really be putting their neck on the line to make sure that people are taken care of, and those are people who are socially like can handle the social part of the job well. Those are the drivers for our team. And so I don't know. It's every all of my issues in the last, I don't know, month or so all sort of derive from a lack of structure and just like overall ambiguity. Like and I don't handle either of those things well. Like I don't handle lack of structure well, and I do not handle ambiguity well at all. Like that as I don't know, I'm creative in a lot of ways, but like that is where my engineering brain is very like um yeah. I've been struggling. I've been struggling. And not in the like the work itself is overwhelming. It is like the social part of it. It's the like I will have starting at 8:30 in the morning like 10 people reach out to me throughout a day. And that's a like that's a lot. That's more than one an hour asking me for various shit. And that's in addition to other shit that I'm trying to already work on during those 8 hour like it's a lot. It's a lot. And like I for myself need to figure out how to like prioritize my time and be like, this is quiet time, like you should not reach out to me during this time period, because like I'm gonna have a mental breakdown if you do. And I like feeling needed. I like that part of it too. So there's a part of me that enjoys that and wants to be the person that people can rely on and all that shit. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel like, important, needed, whatever, blah, 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 blah. It strokes my ego. But it's hard to, it's just hard because like the issues that I have with like general feminism is like so exacerbated by frequently being the only woman in a room. And then if there is another woman in the room, me not wanting to have to put emotional labor onto her because I know how much she's carrying emotional labor in all the other rooms that she's in. And so it's really for me, I think we're really like my company specifically is really lucky because we have like a very e- pretty evenly distributed like mix of men and women on our team. But the emotional labor distribution of our team is very disproportionate, that like women are just expected to handle the like project management, the like I don't know, interacting with the customer portion, the interacting with across departments portions, like all of the things that actually make projects or like customers feel satisfied. Obviously they want like the actual product work as well, but like that stuff takes a lot of time. The emotional part of working takes a lot of time and effort that I think a lot of I don't know. It's a lot of I don't want to complain too much. It's just hard. It's just hard being in a woman in STEM. Hashtag woman in STEM. Hashtag whack. How's your week been? So that was I don't know. I had an important work call. It went pretty well. And I don't know. I'm still sort of riding that high. I'm really proud of myself for one turning it around enough at work for me to feel comfortable enough to advocate in those spaces like that. And because part of it for me has been that I wanted to feel like I had a handle on the role itself before I went and started advocating for changes and that sort of thing. And I do finally feel comfortable in my role enough to do that, and in my voice enough to do that, and in the value that I bring to not just this team specifically, but any team that I'm a part of. Um, And that took so much time, work, and like inner turmoil to like figure all. I had to really work on some shit to figure that out. And I can't imagine. It's hard. It's hard to work on yourself, to truly want to see yourself be the optimal versions, well-rounded versions of ourselves is hard, and it takes a lot of effort. Um so yeah, that was a really cool part of my week. This is like a breakthrough week for me as far as work goes. So I was really proud of that. And I was really happy to see the kids' first volleyball game. That was really cool. It's so interesting being in those spaces again. It's like, damn, we're all interconnected. We all know each other in weird ways. We've all known each other since we were kids, and like, we're adults now. And like, we're adults who are seeing each other's kids play sports, and like, we're raising the new generation of kids now in these same spaces. That's crazy. It's very cool. It's very full circle. I'm grateful to um be in those spaces, you know. And then last weekend I went and saw Hamilton. Bro. 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 Um that shit was so good. That shit was so good. The cast that they have right now, very sexy. They're all handsome. I was shook. Shook. I so cute. That was fun. We but also it's not just about objectifying the men, obviously. Their performances were stellar. The uh whoever's playing the King of England right now, hilarious. I really enjoyed who played Thomas Jefferson as well. I had never seen Hamilton. I've listened to some songs on the soundtrack, here and there, probably from TikTok mostly. But um, I I felt pride for the United States in a way that like I haven't for a while watching Hamilton. Um so that was nice. Uh what else? It was weird to think of Lynn, uh whatever the director's name is, Homeboy. It was weird to think of him as Hamilton, cuz in my head he's not very Hamilton-esque. But that's fine. I really enjoyed how it told the story and made you understand that, like, I don't know, the United States was an underdog, and I think that's why in a lot of contexts um that maybe people still view the United States as an underdog, but like that hasn't been true for a very long time, and we are the bullies of the world. So I would, as much as that story is true, I would also start to reframe in your brain that um, we are now the England part. You know, like anyway. So, I don't know. I had a good time. I had a good Valentine's Day. I saw my mother on my way back up from Stager. So I went to Stager. I left Friday afternoon. The games are on Friday nights, and then I left Jess's around, I don't know, 10ish, and then met my mom. So the first time I've seen her since October of 2024. And it went okay. It went pretty good. I was happy to see her. I have been going through some things personally, and started to feel some patterns repeat in some ways that I don't want to repeat patterns anymore. And I needed her support. So I am grateful that I sucked it up and asked for it. Um, and she and I had fun. We got to discuss what both of our lives have looked like for the last year and a half. And we had fun. So I don't know. It was nice to just see her. And I'm not really trying to think too much more about it right now. Just be glad that it was a good experience for now, you know? So I think that's it. I think that's all I got today. Yeah, what a time. I love you guys very much. I will talk to you next week. In the meantime, don't forget to wash your face and drink some water. I love you very much.